Okay, thank you everyone, and welcome to round two of our midterm showcases for Google Summer of Code and Outreachy 2020. I'm gonna go through this introduction a bit more rapidly today since the folks who listen to these sessions will hopefully listen into yesterday's and we went into most of the introduction then. Okay, so today we're gonna do a showcase and continue demonstrating the ongoing work of our students and interns from Summer of Code. And this was our biggest year of Summer of Code and Outreachy to date. We have more than 21 interns that we have the pleasure of working with this time around. 17 directly through the Mifos initiative, 3 through Apache, and 1 intern through Outreachy. And so this Summer of Code and Outreachy season, we've got students working on our web apps, our mobile apps, as well as Fineract and additional modules for Fineract. And so I'll breeze through the overview on these since I went through them yesterday. But on the web front, we're continuing and completing the rewrite of the main web app for staff into the latest version of Angular. We're also working on the next iteration of our online banking app, and Manish will be doing a demonstration on that. And then yesterday we had a showcase around the self-guided configuration wizard that Ashutosh is working on. He's also been working on the operational UI for the payment hub. And then Abhijit today is going to show the current progress of a new reference UI on top of Finrac CN. And then on the mobile side, we have Chinmay who's been working on providing a SDK for our Android applications. Devansh today is going to walk through the ongoing enhancements he's making to the mobile wallet. Ankur has been working on the design of a new standalone fintech app. Shashank today is going to go through the latest iteration of our Android field operations app on top of Finrac 1.x. Ashwin has been working across the different customer-facing apps to convert them to Kotlin to enable cross-platform development capabilities. Arvid gave a demonstration yesterday of the latest developments for our mobile banking app for Finrac CN, and then Shivangi is working on our mobile banking app for Finrac 1.x. And today, Ahmed is going to walk through the many changes he's been working on for our Android app for Finrac CN for field officers. And then on the module side for Finrac, today Subham is going to walk through what he's been working on our mobile money connector for the GSMA Mobile Money API. Mehul is continuing completing the machine learning credit scorecards project. And then Yash is taking on the next round of work going into the Vision PPI project. And then Rahul is looking to complete the credit bureau integration project. And then on the Fineract side, today Manthan's going to go through the many enhancements he's done at a code refactoring level, as well as wrapping up the Swagger API documentation. The Seer shared a video yesterday updating us on his efforts in migrating our ORM from OpenJVA to Eclipse Link. And then Percy's been working across multiple areas of the code base, improving code quality and testing coverage. And then lastly, Natasha's been working on both hardening Fineract as well as taking on some tasks in the community app to help us get to the next stable release of Mifos X there. And so on today's agenda, Manthan's going to give a showcase of the work that he's done. We're going to have a number of showcases on the mobile side, and then we'll have a couple showcases, I think, on the website, and then we'll also have Subham go through the work he's done in the mobile money connector. So we've got a lot to cover, so we'll try and get through it rapidly. So I'm going to pause my screen and then make sure others can share. So just one moment, let me pause my screen share, and then I'll enable others to share, and then we'll allow our participants to begin doing their showcases. And please, if you have any questions, type them in the chat. We might not have time to get to them at the end, so we'll try and do it throughout the course of the meeting itself. So. Okay, and so Manthan, are you okay with showcasing your efforts first? I think you should be able to share your screen now. Yeah, we can hear you, Manthan. If you wanted to share your screen and walk through
already sharing my screen.
your presentation. So.
Okay, so can I start?
Yeah, your screen's not visible yet if you're trying to share. So.
I will stop and share it.
Oh, maybe I need to stop my sharing too. Let me stop mine to make sure yours will start. So, okay, I stopped my sharing and okay, now it's enabling yours. So, sorry about that.
So, my name is Manthan Sundar. So, I'm working
okay. Oh, and Manthan, your audio is a little garbled. It sounds like it's, there's a little distortion. Is there any way you could improve that audio connection?
Okay, is it better
now? It's about the same, but maybe a tad better.
Okay, this is hello. Hello.
Yeah, it's still about the same. And then others, are you having difficulty hearing Manthan clearly?
Yeah, it's not quite clear to me.
Oh, it's all right for you? It's better now? Okay. Well, yeah, Javier said it's kind of difficult, so.
Okay, so I'll just a second, I'll take my headphones.
Yeah, I think continue Manthan, and then we'll see if you're audible enough. So.
Just a second.
Speak again.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, that's a bit better. So I think continue with that, Manthan. Sorry for those delays.
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Manthan Surkar. I'm working as a GSOC intern at Apache. I'm mentored by Michael. So I have been working under 4 parts of Finrac. The first is check styles, which I'll cover now. Okay, so I'll continue. So I'll be working under 4 parts under Finrac. First is check styles. Second is Swagger UI. Third is removing SQL string concatenation. I'll cover each one of them individually. And the fourth is solving the backlog bugs and adding some features, etc. So we'll start with the check style part first. So check style is a static analysis tool that has now been added to Finrac. So it has many checks inbuilt, which help us improve code quality. And then since Finrac is a big code, we want to have automatic checks over to capture some hidden or real bugs, which cannot be to ease the process to capture them. Like if I had to scan through Finrac entirely, it is not possible for me to catch an empty catch block or something like I'm catching a generic exception. So those are the hidden bugs we try to cover. So let's go one by one. So this was done in mostly the phase 1. I have covered about 75% of adding the check styles. Okay, the interesting part about this is that I have nearly changed every Finrac file, code file through automated process or manually. So so first part is the error logging check styles. So when we log error, many of us follow different practices. The main purpose here that we follow a generic practice, a fixed practice, and a correct practice. So the correct way to log errors is not using system.out, but using log, the logger inbuilt in Finrac. So we are adding a check style here. Whenever user tries to log an error using system.out, he's given a build error and is asked to use a logger instead. So what is my contribution in this? So what I do is, since we are trying to add a check style, we must ensure that initially it is being followed. So first we ensure that the check style is followed. So we make all the changes required that the check style is followed, and then later we add the check. So now each time, next time a user tries to use system.out, he'll get a build error. So this is the first part of error logging check style. So there are 6 or 7 check styles that checks everything that goes with the error logging. Just like not using system.out is not allowed, or something like empty catch blocks are not allowed. So like empty catch block is a very bad practice, and definitely it means there can be some hidden, like if an exception is occurring, we must handle it. So how to ensure that? So we can add this check style. This check style, whenever a developer tries to have a empty catch block, he's given a build error and he's asked to add something to check. Then maybe simply log it, or properly handle the check exception, anything like that. So that is the first part of the check style block. The second one is the naming check styles. Okay, so what are naming check styles? So now whenever we follow, every developer has his own naming conventions. Like you might want to name class differently, but Java and other senior developers, like they recommend a particular pattern of naming everything. So having that in a code base really is like a good sign. So we implement the naming check styles. So for example, the method name. So method name should follow this particular regex, and if it does not follow, a user is given an error, build error. So he must follow a particular way he name the methods. Similarly, we I have implemented about 50% of this. So these are hard to implement because we have to go through each file, check for the names, and this take a lot of time. So I implemented about 50% of this. So now we like control most of the part, however things are named, and they are most now in a good manner. So like method name should have this regex. Similarly, there are different naming check styles. So what my work here was to replace all the current wrong implementations of this check style so that we can add it to the code base. Now next time that anyone tries to do it in the incorrect way, he is like opt an error. So now similarly, there are many checks that were added. So you can go to this checkstyle.xml file if you are interested. And here you can see that all these check styles are implemented. There are more than 40 that are implemented, and each one brings some of the feature with it. Like some check with it. It's like we'll take it one more important part here. Like for example, empty block will not allow any of the empty try block, empty finally, empty if block, something like that. And now the other important part was code quality. Like we literally went from not having an indentation in our code. Just a second. Okay, so we did not have an indentation in code. Now we control how the if statement looks. Like if the if statement is this, the build passes. If not, if the user tries this or this, the build fails. We control in what order these keywords come. Like final, static, and private must come in a particular order, or the build will fail. This is not supported, only this is supported. Now this looks like, and this looks like a lot of rules. Remember, there are more than 100 rules. So now for this purpose, like I have added the check style, but the developer is, instead of, he will have a lot of problems writing code. So we now use auto code formatting, and for that purpose, spotless was added. Spotless and check style are two independent modules, but they work quite a bit together. So now there are the code quality check styles are automated now. So like for example, let's take an example. So if I'm trying to change a few parts. And I will also disturb the indentation, for example. I will add some unused imports. Anything will work. Okay. Okay, so you get the point, right? So I'm trying to add a input that is not used, and I will make similar changes like removing the indentation, disrupting some of the code. Now, if I'm or say I'm also doing this, and if I'm sorry, Now, if I'm trying to, I have to run a simple command, w spotless apply. So this is now inbuilt and added to the README. Okay, so now as that command runs, we'll get rid of all the unused imports. The imports will be in the, for all entire code base, the imports will be in a particular order. The spaces will be done properly. The lines will be indented. The lines will be wrapped. Entire thing will be done. So like the entire code formatting is now automated. So what are the benefits? So we have a uniform code, like and uniform code is definitely better for code reviewing. Like if and to like have leave a good code base for the if the developer wants to develop. And we also cleared a grade barrier. That was here we had a check style which banned the Windows line ends. So it was very difficult for us to develop on Windows platform. Now you can see I'm developing on Windows. That's because of this spotless again. The spotless converts all the line endings from Windows to Linux. So we can actually use spotless. We can actually develop on Windows. Initially, at least for me, it was not possible. So it is nice. Other than that, so I'm about 75% done with the check styles part. There are still a few check styles left to implement. So I'll be implementing in the remaining time. So this is the basic concept of check styles. There are about 100 plus rules for code formatting that are added, and about 30 other check styles. Now, second part of my work is on the Swagger UI. Okay, so just a second. So the code formatting was added in this PR. If this is a very interesting PR, so you can look at it. So next part is the Swagger UI. So what is that? Swagger UI offers us documentation for us. So how is it different from the old documentation? So this, first of all, this is after the great work, as Michael called it, a great success story of open source contribution. So how this was actually been worked since 2 years. Started with Sanyam, if I'm not wrong, and then Kang worked and Michael helped in the review. This year, Petri and I worked most of the part of this, and we are now finally done with. We can see that this is now we can use it. So how is it different from the old documentation? So first of all, we can try in our browser the API in right here itself. I'll give you a demo. Then we can authorize for different users or tenant ID here itself, and then we can try the API. Secondly, it is not a static documentation page. It is generated from the code. By from the code, I mean that there are different annotations that we can add, like the path is /audits and the different details that we want to give about the particular API, and then this is directly reflected over here. So now all the APIs are covered here. The features that I can, so if a developer wants to make some changes in this API, he can directly update documentation right over here. So you can add something like a new change here, and it will be directly reflected in the documentation. So this is really handy to handle a lot of APIs. So now what's remaining in here is only that to verify that all the APIs are working correctly for the demo that I'll give, and if it will launch it, like so. Now we'll check the API for audits, for example. So in the search bar of the audit was not present initially. Okay, so now if I want to list all the audits, I have to make sure that I'm authenticated. So I can change by what user I have to go. For users, like for ease, we are pre-filling the information. Now, let's say I have to list all the audits. So I'll click on try it out button and click on execute. So in browser itself, the API is executed, and the user can take the demo of something like everything. If wanted, he can give the parameters and test it. So this is why Swagger UI is like good. So there is not much left in here, so we can cover that. We can launch it. The third part of my work was working on. Just a second. Okay, now what's remaining is I have to also make a demo video on this so that we can actually show to the users like how to use it, and then we can launch it. So now third part was removing SQL string concatenation. So what was the problem here? we were making SQL statements using string concatenation. Now that is not really bad, but if we come to an example like this, now how do we check if this statement formed by string concatenation is actually having some SQL injection? We check for the keywords, right? So I check for if the update keyword is present over here in the user input. That means he might be trying to do some SQL injection, but it is not always true, right? XYZ can have a value update. In some cases that was happening. So there we had this need of removing SQL string concatenation. Like we cannot conclude that if a user has a update keyword or a select keyword in his code, that means he is trying to do some SQL injection. So the solution to this was having the prepared SQL statements. So my work here revolves around Michael had made a SQL builder module. I'm either extending it, I'm a little bit extending it and implementing it in the code base. So our purpose is that wherever we have some SQL string concatenation, it is made through concatenation. We want to convert it into prepared SQL statements and then pass the variable. So in this way, we can also prevent the SQL, like this implementation might have some hidden bugs, right? If we cannot ensure that every keyword is covered by checking SQL injection, so that also must be stopped. So this is incorrect way of doing things, and this is the right way using the prepared statements. So my work here revolves around making all the statements prepared. Wherever SQL string concatenation, we make it prepared statements. So this is being done right now, and I have made about 3 PRs extending the SQL builder module that we have. So I will also write a guide for users how to make a new SQL statement if they are writing a new API, or use our SQL builder module. And I'm also extending SQL builder module to support every query like limit and order by, so that we can make the entire statement prepared, and this is always be better. The next part of my work is around so I have implemented solved some of the bugs, like the bugs which popped up during my GSOC period. Also I have written integration tests for audits and wherever I found there was needed. And for the rest of my GSOC, I'll try to complete the check style part, and if possible add more check styles than planned so that we can have a better code base. Then the other work is finally launching Swagger UI with a nice demo video, and then completing this SQL builder module and SQL, and also like if possible add some more plugins for checking the SQL security. So majorly like ensuring that our SQL part is entirely secure. And post GSOC period, I will probably work on the Finrac and Swagger part. So that's all from my side.
Okay, thank you, Manthan. It's very impressive how much you've been able to accomplish already thus far in Summer of Code. So really appreciate all the effort along with Michael that you've been putting into the project and really, helping improve the overall code quality and finally getting these Swagger API docs completed and officially available for the community. So thank you so much. And then next up, Ahmed, do you want to begin sharing your screen? I'll let you showcase next.
Yeah, sure.
We'll try to go through our mobile demos now. And then just if anybody has any questions, type them in the chat and we'll try to, respond to them via chat most likely.
So am I audible right now?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ahmed. We don't see your screen yet, but you should be able to share.
Oh, that's great. Okay, let's share. Okay, now.
Okay. Yeah, it's visible now.
Okay, sure. Okay. Okay, this is Ahmed Javed Mohammadi from Afghanistan, currently pursuing a bachelor's degree in computer application in Pune University, India. So I'm working on Finrac mobile project as a student developer in Google Summer of Code 2020. It is an Android application for digital financial services that is built on top of the Finrac platform, which is used by field officers. Today, I'm going to showcase important features that I developed in my pre-GSOC preparation contributions and coding periods. So let's start. So first of all, I would like to talk shortly about the modification and testing, code reviews, and research I did so far. And then I'll continue with showing live demo of UI related features. So in GSOC, one of our main tasks was extending the application to the Kotlin and converting the existing Java classes to Kotlin. So around something 15 Java classes, module classes were in Java. So I converted to them, all of them to Kotlin, and there are the pull requests for all of them, and tested all the converted classes. And also around for 10 days, I reviewed all pull requests. So in our project, there were more than something 30 pull requests. I went through all of them and implemented required change. And also I requested change for other contributors pull requests. So they had a very good response for that, and they implemented those changes. And also I tested some functionalities of the app with new Finrac instance demo because our application has been built with a mock layer of data. And so I test with that. There were many null pointer exception and other crashes. So I solved them and I reached the PR for that. So we can go later for this. And lastly, I researched about offline first approach. So one of our main tasks in this GSOC is implementing first offline approach in our project using Cloud database. So I went through its documentation and did about this blogs. Even I created a small to the application to how to do this in our implement in our project. Based on my implementation plan, I'd be working on this feature and third phase of GSOC. So and also I went through the GSMA mobile man APIs, and for because we are going to use this for dispersing learn for customers. So this feature is also I'll be working on this feature and third phase of GSOC. So now let's go. So in one of the feature I added was added support for rules and permission feature. So rules and permission allow the administrator to control access to platform based on what rules are assigned to employees and what permissions are assigned to roles. So simply we can see that the rules and permission feature is a place to customize roles and select your appropriate permissions. So I added this feature. Let's show an application. So this is our Finrac in mobile application, and let's go to rules and permissions. So previously our application was showing only a list of rules and permissions. So I added all these features. So like create a new rule. When you click on this Fulton action button, and it will ask identify a customer, then you can add a rule, like if enter a rule name, and you can add allowed operations. We can like delete or change only the customer can this change only. So at permission, we can edit also like this. And even if you want delete, it will ask confirm deletion. Do you want to delete? Yes. So we can do it like this. And once we add one permission, like this, so we can go. When you click this, it says that so it is the errors occurring again because I'm not using the Finrac instance demo because some services were not running. So I'm using the test to have a fast demo. Okay, let's go to the second one, display role details. So when you click on this list in here, we are showing a list of 2 roles. When you click on any item, it will show the role details like identifier, and this is the role name and the allowed operations. And you can, if you click on this icon, you can edit this like this. Now I delete this role and I will save. Then another option deleting a role. So we can, I added another feature that we can delete a role also. When you click on edit and you click on this icon, you can delete this role. So do you want to delete this identifier, this role? If you see it cancel, it will cancel. And if you see delete, then it will delete the role. So here is the pull request for that. And it is under review. It has not been merged. It comes to like 1,200 lines of code. And here is the screenshots I have added. So let's go to say second. And second one, I also added added support for all functionalities of creating a ledger. So it was one of my important features that I implemented. I learned a lot of things. So in here, I did this kind of things, features, create a ledger. Let's go to the demo. And here, go to ledgers. So in here also previously, we were showing only a list of ledgers. So I added this functionality, like creating a ledger. You click on this button, and this will come this page. So in a ledger, we have to create a type. We have to choose a type of this. It will be only asset, liability, equity, revenue, and expense. Then it should have an identifier, customer name, I mean, and it should have also a name. If you don't enter a name, it will give an error. So you have to enter it, and then a description is optional. So go like that. And also we can add to a ledger subledgers. A ledger can have subledgers to allow more descriptive hierarchies like this. So you can see the add. It's like same as ledgers. We have to account type, then identifier. So we have to get a name also. Description is optional. Still we have to do that. And add subledger. So in subledgers, we can edit a subledger like this. And I can edit and like this one. Update subledger. No, it's not included. And also we can delete a subledger. So we can add many subledgers. So it's optional. Even if you don't add, you can go. And the next, we added a review screen. So we can see that how many what details we have saved or created. Here identifier name, and you can go back and can do other edition if you want, like this. One. Okay. So in here, yeah, subledgers are assigned here. So when you click on complete, it will save to the server. Right now, I'm not calling any server demo need to call. It is this demo. But if it is server is working, then it will work. While creating a ledger, it will see. And also, I added a functionality for viewing details of ledger and subledgers. So in here, we have a list of ledgers, and you click on this, we'll see all the details of ledger like type, identifier, name, and describe. So in here, I have subledgers also. You can see the subledgers details. When you click on this, it has two subledgers. It will see that subledger, it has two subledgers. If there is no any subledgers, like in here, so it will say that there is no subledger, you cannot click. And also add, edit, and delete subledgers. So another functionality I added was editing subledgers. So if you click on that, you can edit the ledgers, ledger and subledgers. So for example, in identifier, you cannot change the identifier, but you can change other things. Like this. And so in here, there's no subledger. If you click on complete, it will edit the ledger. And also we can delete the ledger. And click on delete option. Yeah, it will delete the subledger. And you go to the pull request. Here is the code. It contains more than 2,000 lines of code. And I have created JS for each functionality I added, like creating a ledger. So we can do that and edit, delete, and subledgers. Also, we need details of ledger and subledgers. So all of them is a JS file, and it is under review. Okay. So another functionality. So another functionality feature I created was added support for editing loan details. Previously in our application, we couldn't edit a loan account. So now field officer can edit the loan account if it is not approved or cancelled. Let's go to customers and loan accounts. So the application is in created mode. So now I'm able to edit it. If it is approved or cancelled, then this menu button will be hide and visible. So when I click this, I can edit. Like I change to 4, this one, and we go next one. I added it. Okay. Oh no, I didn't add it. Oh, yeah, it is here. It is. And so you go like that. And here you can see the review. I have added to 4, and here I added this one income ratio like this. So when it is edit loan, and when I click complete, so edit loan, what we have changed, it will be saved. So this was another feature that I have built, and the political is also there. So then other functions are feature implemented was improved UI and implemented more functions for groups. Okay, let's go for the pull request. Actually, this functionality has been added partially by Saksham Handul, the previous 2019 UGSAC student. He has implemented partially this feature. He has written something of 2,000 lines of code. This features belong to him. So I went through the API documentation. There were many APIs ready. So I grabbed his pull request and I built on top of that. So I added all these features on his pull request. Yeah, in here, let's go to the, so it is also merged right now. So groups. So I added UI design and UI fixes. I kind of redesigned whole the application in these groups. So I added like a recycle review in here for leader's name and member's name to make it much more material design guidelines following. So I edit and update group details. I added this function to edit. You can edit this. And also I added edit or delete group members and leaders name. Like in here, we can edit a member name, like update, or even we can delete, it will ask you to delete. So, and also we can add, I added all these functionalities. And also the same functionality is added for add leader's name, which you can edit, delete, and add leader's name. And when you go, it is edit group. So if you go to the next and we'll see a review. I also designed this page to follow constant design in our application. It's look like similar to other functionalities. So in here you see complete and I complete, and it will update the group information. So another edit or delete group members and leaders name, reopen, close, and activate the group account. So I had a task management feature for groups. Like if our group is kind of in pending state, when you go through in here, when you click on tasks, it will say that, yeah, you can activate the account. So when you click on this, it will ask that you have to enter a comment here what you want to activate. So you can click in here because, yeah, there is no API call. So that's why it's giving error and you can cancel. So if it is in closed, even you can reopen an account. And if it is in the open mode, we can delete this account. So another, I think what I enhanced the network calls using coroutines. So actually this PR was very important for us. After having a talk with my mentor, we decided to go with model view model architecture. Actually, this application has been built using MVP model view presenter architecture. So now after this, I'll create my other features using model view model architecture, which is Google's suggested architecture. It has, we can use a lot of Jetpack libraries like live data, coroutines, view model. So I have developed this feature using model view model architecture. And this feature is right now merged to our base code. The code, so we already saw the base code, the pull request. Another feature I added was added string screens and implemented change passcode menu. So in our application, there was no any setting screen. I have implemented that in my pre-GSAC preparation. So in here, it is a second screen, which you can get a language in here. Actually, there is no translation for this language right now. Only English is there, but in the future we will do that. And also this feature which we can edit passcode, change the passcode feature. Here it is. Yeah, the user can select a language and change the passcode from settings. Here's the code and it's under review. Okay, other task management feature for loan account. So it is one of my features that I built recently, just 15 days ago. It allows task management feature like for approving, rejecting, canceling, and disbursing loan accounts. But it was one of my tasks to do in GSAC, but APIs were not ready. So that's why I opened a Jira ticket for that, which APIs I need. And that I finished the UI parts, and also the other thing, a network calls, only the API is remaining. So in here it is. When you click on tasks of an account, this bottom sheet dialog will appear like you can approve, reject, or delete. So I might replace this with this verse if it is approved. And also when you click on approve, this bottom sheet will appear. So why you want to approve this, you can approve this. So this function actually it is not finished, all the work, still it is in progress. So in draft file. And the last but not least, the feature is adding this feature into the app. It is in progress. So in this feature, let's go to the code. Location, yeah. So in here, first we are going to show a list of visited customers. When the field officer visit the customers, how many customers had visited, we'll show here a list of visited customers when they click in here. So still work is going on. I might change some UI in here. I will add some more functionalities like searching and filtering in here, and client name, visited date, and address was there, and we'll show a map in here. Then track users current location. So now we also track the user's current location, like when you see visit customer. In this page, we are showing the nearby clients. So I'm planning to show 5 or 6 clients which is near to the chief officer, field officer, which he can visit. So when he clicks on that, customer's office name will be here, and when he clicks like that, we can show the routes. So it is pending, I will do that. And so when he clicks on this, and then we are showing a notification here that location tracking started and the name of the client there. So we can stop also that. And also drop in current location of the user. So when you click in here, it shows the current location of the field officer. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed. I'm once again also very impressed with everything you've been able to already accomplish thus far. And I know, we've got a lot more you can work on, and there's a number of blockers. And once we get those blockers addressed, we're eager to have your work continue. So I'm gonna pass it on now to Shashank. I think it's a nice segue into looking at the field officer app on Fineract 1.x. And I know we're, running pretty long already, but I hope everybody can stay on as we're going to try to get through as many demos as we can, even if we've got to run a little bit long, and we'll record and send out the meeting if you can't stay on for the whole session. So I think once you stop sharing your screen, Ahmed, I think Shashank should be able to start sharing his. So.
Okay, just
hello, am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just share my screen. 1 second.
Yeah, I stop.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you.
Hello, is it visible now?
Not yet. We can hear you, but the screen's not yet visible.
Okay, just like right now, is it visible?
For me, no. I'll let others reply, but I don't think it's started yet.
Okay, just
Yeah, now it's visible.
okay.
Or it was.
So
it was for a moment, Shashank.
okay, yeah.
Try the screen share again, because it popped up and I saw the the gist page that has the 2 logos on it, but then it's not visible at the moment.
Okay, right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So hello everyone. Myself Shashank Pradeshi, and I'm working on the Android client application field of officer. Currently, like I'm moving it to version 7. So the first thing like which I did was adding a bottom navigation and a floating action button in the dashboard page. So like the PR goes. Yeah. So just a minute. Yeah, so like the dashboard page is just like looking like this, and it will contain a floating action button. Like previously, it contains a overflow menu button where from where the user can like easily create a like client and the like groups in the center, and it also contains a logout button. So like I shifted it to a floating action button, so it will like look like this. So yeah. So yeah, it will look like this. Like it will allow a user to just create a new client by this button and then center and a group. Also, the second thing is the bottom navigation thing. The bottom navigation holds for the dashboard, clients, centers, and a group. So yeah, like previously, everything was shifted to the like located at the side navigation button, but now it is shifted to the bottom navigation. So it will be more handy for the user to use these features. The second thing which I did was adding a language support. Like previously, there was no language support in the application. It contains a few language translations like Hindi, Spanish, Chinese, and etc. But there was no any local support. So I added this thing so that now the user from the settings page, user can easily change to various languages like the Spanish or Hindi or English, anything. Yeah, also like I need to add a few more languages. Like there are few more PRs related to this which add which allows a support to few other languages. So like after a review it will get merged and then it will also support a new languages. The third thing is like a few UI enhancement. The login page will look like this, and the dashboard pages will look like this, and same goes to the client details and individual corrections. Like there are a lot of UI changes. I added a few of them here so that we can just take a look at how the pattern of the UI goes in the every page. And the fourth one is like the instant search feature in the search fragment. So now, like previously what happened, the user need to just enter the name of a client or the account number or the external ID, then he would just search and then it will show the result. But now it is a dynamic search. So now after just entering it, it will just provide the result based on that, and also it will allow that like it will print the results if the user deletes something or adds something. The fifth thing was like I added a dark mode support in the application. So now the like from a setting menu, user can easily select dark mode based on the system setting, or maybe the light mode or a dark mode. Like he can easily switch by the help of a radio button. And also like did a few color management so that it will look great for the user who is using it. The sixth thing was like I added a notification support, deeper notification framework. So currently it is added in the part tracker and offline mode. Another PR was sent for adding it in the like the offline mode sync. So it will be like it after review it will get merged. The part tracking is like whenever a user clicks on the part tracking button, so it will just start the tracking and it will show that the currently the tracking is done for the customer. And like right now it doesn't show the name of the customer because currently the demo.mifos.ai is not supporting the tracking thing. So like after like when it will show the results here, so it can easily show the name of the user for which it is tracking the path. The second thing was offline mode. Like whenever the user is in offline mode, so it will show that the currently you are working on an offline mode, and when it comes back to the online mode, so the notification will be deleted, and the user can easily like check that he is in the offline mode or not. The seventh feature which I did was like change password feature. So same like it will open from a setting. So user can just click on a setting and it will allow the user to change the password, because like previously what happened, for changing a password user needs to like re-log in again and then he can only change the password. But now it supposes that you can also change the password dynamically while you are using the application without signing in again. apart from this, I also like added a few more like sent a few more PRs related to the about app page, because like currently our this Android field officer application doesn't have about page, a help page, and also the query related pages. So these PRs are also sent it, and after review they will get merged. And right now I'm working on two new things. Like the first thing is just like providing a feature so that user can change the endpoints of the user can change the API endpoints from the application. So like right now I'm thinking to first provide a simple authentication so that the user needs to, like when he goes to change the API endpoints, so the application will ask him a passcode, what is the passcode, and based on the passcode, like if it is correct, then he will only allow to change the API endpoints. And the second thing which I'm currently doing is like adding a notification, SMS push notification support in the application. So like previously I tried with the Firebase cloud messaging, but it doesn't work. So I'm moving with moving to the APIs provided by the Mifos, like for creating SMS by the help of SMS campaign APIs. So yeah, this was the work which I did till now, and like I will, and the three main works are pending, which are the which I will do in coming weeks. The one is the SMS notification support, and the second one is the GIS support, and the third one is the KYC onboarding feature. So yeah, that's from my side. Thank you everyone for listening.
Okay, thank you so much, Shashank. Really happy with all the progress you've made, and I know we've got some blockers on the notifications we're trying to address, and we'll help you get through those, but glad to see all the progress you've made thus far, and thank you for the very quick and thorough showcase.
Yep.
Okay, next up, let me see if Devansh is still on. Devansh, did you want to walk through the showcase on the mobile wallet?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and there's a little background noise on your side, but I think it's...
Oh, 1 second.
Sounds like a fan might be running in the background. So.
Oh, 1 second. So is my screen visible?
Yeah, your screen's visible.
Oh, 1 second. So is my phone screen visible? Like,
Yeah, we can see both the Fineract CN and then the phone screen too.
okay. So like my work has been like I'm using for the showcase purposes. I'm using 4 applications. Like my changes have not been merged yet, so I'm like using different applications and running them on my mobile device. So I will go through my work in the order I did during the GSOC period. So first work that I did during the coding round 1, I was adding the complete CRUD support for standing instructions in mobile wallet. So initially Shivansh in GSOC 19, he added the support for creating the standing instructions, but like the other operations for deleting and all. 1 second. Okay. So deleting, updating, and everything was pending, and also the functionality to view all the standing instructions that we have. So first of all, this is a standing instruction that I have, and on clicking this fab button, user can enter the amount he wants and the virtual payment address that he wants to address it to, and the recurrence interval. Select the date and create one. Like I will just show 1 second. So I have So like actually currently the backend API for creating is not working, and I'm still in contact with the Finrac people. So like it will show an error most probably. Yeah, error making. So like, but as soon as the backend problem gets solved, another like standing instruction will appear here, and like this is the place one can view the details of the standing instruction that he or she created, and also like clicking hit this button, she can update the details and save the details. So also the user can click here to delete the standing instruction. Like since I cannot create any new standing instruction, I will avoiding displaying this one, like for deleted. Okay, like it will get deleted. So this was my work done for the standing instructions part. So like as I mentioned, I'm using different applications. So like second work that I will be showing will be the one where I use integrated the Finrac CN, like I added the support for Finrac CN in mobile wallet. One second. I guess I have to clear the data for the login. Yeah, so like the major problem for like integrating the Finraction was like how to link the like actual Finraction does not provide any support for the self-service user. So what I did was I actually for any Finraction that we want to create, I'm creating a Finrac 1.x based user, and using that one, I'm providing the self-service scope to the user. So for creating, I'm simply using the back office APIs for of Finraction, and also side by side I'm creating a Finrac user, and I'm just linking the saving the client's external ID with the customer identifier from the Finrac CM. So for the demo purposes, I have like linked my so okay, so I have like already linked my this account with the Finrac CN user, and here is the user that I linked with. So like here is like this is a Finraxian GUI that we have, and like we have this like this user. I have basically linked with them. So currently, I have tried to integrate all the API, like all the APIs that are like I can possibly integrate with mobile wallets. So like one can have all the transaction history of the user, and this is done using the general entries API general entries API under the accounting module, and also like all this work like that like this one this is from the normal Finrac 1.x user, and here one can visit all the transaction details. And so like actually this is not a complete work, and we still need like updates on the Finraction to completely integrate it, but this shows like a good like this presents a good demo that we can use for like for further development. So like the process I used was simply linking this client's external ID with the customer identifier for a Finraction user. So okay, so like my third work was like integrating the payment hub. So actually, after having talked with my mentor Shivansh, we agreed on like like first updating the PR that we had for the previous year. So like it's still working on the last year's PR because it in the one second. So okay, I have already created a user, and one second. So like this is the user that I'm using, wallet tester Mifos. So like this is a user on the Leopard instance, and like this is the like so here I will just demo a transaction. The on the overall like the transaction process is similar as we earlier did, but under the hood it's using payment hub APIs for making all the transactions. So like one second, I will just use a QR code, like that will be a better example. So okay, like this is another like the payment of test user that I created for like for testing. This is this user, and I will be like I just earlier generated this QR code, so like it will be easier during the showcase. So like the transaction process is completed, and 1 second, I'll just show like how the, so currently like I'm in talk with Zoltan for this, like for any transaction that I'm trying, it's getting refunded, so like amount on hold and then refunded. So but all the work from the application side has been completed, and all the transactions, like how to pay, like show QR code, and user can just use this QR code to request a transaction, and everything is completed. For the payment of use cases, only request to pay notifications task is incomplete, and as soon as get any updates on the FCM based notification, I will complete that one also. So the last work that I did till now was like adding the dark mode, like multi-theme support in mobile wallet. Yes. So okay, so by default it uses, like whenever user hasn't specified any theme, so it uses the theme that is the device is using. So my device is Android 10, and I'm using Android dark theme, so like I can use the force dark mode. So currently this is using the force dark mode. So like okay, like I will just like, so like this is first I will give you an like general overview like how the light mode is, then you can just get a better idea of what all changes I have done. So this is the light mode, and so for this task to be completed, actually I had to migrate the entire application to Android X. Initially it was using the support library version, and I had to migrate it completely to Android X to use the material designs library. So so like this is just a general overview of like the light mode. Then I will simply show dark mode, and okay, so like here's the home screen and the transactions of the user, and here is where the user can send the money to to another user, and the QR code where he can like the specific transaction for between any two users, and so okay, this is like setting up any card and account sharing. So these are the merchants, and like I have tried to use the standard colors that are suggested in the material design documentation. Still, the wallet shape that I've used is not like I just use it temporarily, and I will like get updates from my mentor to finally decide what color we like and update the protocol that I sent. So finally, like, okay, like system download. So this is all from my side, and if anyone has, thank you for your attention. If anyone has any questions, I will be very happy to answer them.
Well, thank you, Devansh. Like, really nice work that you've done so far, and it was also impressive switching between the various applications to do a very smooth demo. And happy to see the level of integration you've done, you know, at the moment with Fineract CN, and then hopefully we can help you make that tighter. As I know, you know, demonstrating these wallet use cases from a front-end perspective will be valuable for the adoption of Fineract CN. So this is great work, and I was also surprised to see that you'd implemented the use cases for the payment hub and are just waiting on that error with the refund of the transaction going through. So I was happy to see that go through using the actual authenticated self-service users. So good job. Okay, and I know we're a little bit over still, but we're gonna keep going. I think we've got a couple more showcases. And then Ankur, I think you wanted to walk through a little bit of the current progress that you've made with the standalone open banking fintech app. And yeah, Ankur, you know, has been making good progress, but he had to wait a little bit to get some clarity from the mentors and the rest of the community. And so we're eager to have a highly productive second half of the Summer of Code on this brand new app that we put in front of Ankur to work. So looking forward to your showcase, Ankur.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen in a minute. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible now. You might need to zoom out a little bit as, yeah, maybe, yeah, because right now it's still zoomed in a little bit. I'm not sure if you're trying to show the whole browser window.
Let me share. Yeah. Is it visible now?
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So this is the. Let me first discuss what kind of use cases that we have currently implemented in the app. So these are three basic use cases that I have implemented. First is direct login, and then we have fetching of the user's account, and then fetching the balances of the user account. Then talking about the architecture of the code, we are using Kotlin native to develop a cross-platform app so that we can share the business logic and backend code with all the platforms. We don't have to rewrite it again and handle the UI on specific platforms. So the common main module basically is being shared by all the platforms. Currently, we have two platforms, Android and iOS, which uses common main to execute the use cases like logging into the app or fetching the accounts or other kinds of use cases. And then, yeah, so currently for the architecture, we are using clean architecture with MVVM. So these are the use cases that we have. Jumping to the demo. Also, for the API, since we don't have any API, so I'm referring to the Open Bank project to execute the APIs. Right, so I'll now log into the application. So initially it shows the accounts I have on the account right now. As you can see, I will show this to you. This is basically the REST client which fetches the account, and it shows that these are my account. It's just one account in HSBC test, and then there's one in RBS and another one in RBS also. So same data is being shown to the people here. Just a minute. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Somebody knocked on the door. Yeah. Yeah. So now this basically shows all the accounts I have and I'm connected to, and these are the account details. And now I can fetch the balances of these accounts by clicking on the fetch balances. And now it shows my banks with the balances, and then it shows the total amount and assets that we have. And this is a specific API for that. What we do is we just pass the bank ID and we fetch the balances, and it shows that here this is the currency and the amount as it shows on the app as well. And as for the UI mockups, yeah, I developed these mockups for the app. So currently this has been implemented, and next I will be working on fetching of the transaction and fetching of the debit and credit cards of the user. These are the next use cases I will be working. Yeah, and that's all. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Well, thank you, Ankur. Yeah, and to give a little more context Ankur's, project. Like we proposed this new project for Ankur, and basically, as we're rolling out the open banking API layer on top of Fineract, we would like to have like a reference fintech application to demonstrate how a third-party fintech could come and build an application that pulls data, purely from the open banking APIs. And so until we have the whole open banking API layer available through Fineract, that's why Ankur had been integrating with the Open Bank project, open banking APIs. But the goal is to build the standalone app to have, the basic common features that each app would need, and then demonstrate a few more specific advanced use cases based on the open banking APIs. And we're also looking to integrate this with the newly emerging payment initiation service provider APIs as part of the module loop switch. And so thanks, Ankur, and looking forward to continued progress there. And then let me, switch it over to, let me make sure Subham is on, but Subham is going to walk through his progress on the GSMA Mobile Money API connector he's been building into the Payment Hub Enterprise Edition. So thank you, Ankur. And then I think as soon as you stop sharing your screen, it'll allow Subham to share.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone for joining.
Okay, am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you, Subham.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, and so while Subham's getting his screen shared, he's been taking on a project that we've tried to tackle numerous summer of codes and get right. So basically, we want to provide a reference integration with a mobile money API. And so he's been working on leveraging the newly created Payment Hub Enterprise Edition architecture and building a connector for the GSMA Mobile Money API, which will provide a blueprint for connecting with other live mobile money APIs. So thanks, Subham, and thank you, Avik, for the support you've been providing.
Okay, so I'm going to give a little bit of context on the Payment Hub EE and how it actually works. So over at the currently in the Payment Hub EE, there are three connectors: merger loop, chat, and the AMS. So I'm trying to build a GSMA connector, which is going to sit along with these three connectors, and we're going to use ZBay for orchestration. So I'm going to show a little bit about ZBay. So ZBay works with BPMN diagrams. So in case of the BPMN diagrams, you want to have several workers. So you can see these small boxes. So these boxes are service. So a service worker is going to perform the task that is required to, and then it's going to flow through BPMN diagrams. Okay, so this is about Payment Hub. I'm now a little bit about the GSMA standards that we're going to setting. So in case of GSMA is sort of giving a reference API request bodies and API responses to be standardized. So if a major telecom mobile money providers adopt to GSMA standards, then it's going to be very easy for third-party people to integrate mobile money on Payment Hub EE. So it's going to be as simple as basically changing the money links to let's say Safaricom mobile money or the mobile money providers. Okay, so I'm going to start with the account management APIs that I've created in that Payment Hub. So we're going to start with the account status. So so this is currently running on my local. Let me quickly start the local server. So we have started our local server moment. Right, so server has started. So we're going to Postman. So first we are going to test out the account status API, which we're going to do over here. So over here you can see the logs that it is performing the API. So I've got account status as available for the particular user. So we're going to count identifier type, and the identifiers we have already set it over here as the identifier type as MS and the identifier as the sample identifier. We also have account API similarly. So again, so we're going to bring out the balance and available balance, result balance, and everything. So 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 these APIs are mapped to directly, and then we have the account name, account holder's name. We have the account holder name provided. Then so we have the ability to get statements of the account, like the account holder, which transactions have taken place for the people. So we have the account statements, and then we have account transactions. So statements and transactions are pretty much similar, but statement sort of provides a level of details, and the transaction provides a lot of details. So over here we can see pretty much all the transactions taking place with this account. And then we also transaction authorization code. I'll be coming back to authorization code a little bit later. So let's so now I'm going to show a sample transaction, how it's going to take place. So this is Mifos X. So I've created a sample page inside the web app to demonstrate the transaction how it's going to take place. It's loading. Okay, it's not responsive. Okay, so I think there's an issue with the web app. Skip the web app. I'm going to show it through Postman, how the transaction will take place. So this is Commanda Cloud, or this is where our ZBA is hosted. Let me quickly start the debugger so that I can put stop points and show how it's going to work. Okay, so I'm going to perform a sample transaction, bilateral money transfer. Right, so inside the bilateral money transfer, we have the tenant through which we're doing it. And then inside the body, we have to provide the information and the payee information and the amount, how much we want to do it. Let's do 345. They're gonna send the, okay, sorry, I have to change this. Okay, so we're gonna send request. So this request goes to the channel connector, and then we get a transaction ID. So we're gonna come to our commander. So our processor stopped over here. We're going to check commander once. over here, we have a transaction heading. So if we open this transaction, yeah, so we open this transaction, we see that our worker is over here right now. So this purple box is from the account management. So this is a Finrac worker, and this red boxes are basically the GSMA service. So over here we can inspect the variables. So we see that is the channel request. We sent the payer ID, payee, and then also the amount that we sent, the 345. And then you also see the transaction ID. So this transaction ID should be same as, let's say, the postman. So we can correspond the work, like the flow with the transaction IDs. Now, so currently our worker is over here is account pay account status. If we see in our code, we are also stopped over here. If we start this, then it should continue. It will take a minute to refresh over here. Okay, and then again stopped at transfer route. So right now over here, it has moved along and it came over here. Again, if we go to the variables, we say transfer code is a newer variable, transfer state, this response is a new variable that got created. Again, if we move along from here, then we should see, so we see the transaction was successful, but we can come over here and again verify. It will take a date. Yeah, so we see that this blue line went through straightly and it completed the transaction. Now let's once with a failed example use case where the transaction will fail for sure. So try with this 9. So let's say we want to remove one of the identifier digit. So to make it a wrong identifier, we're gonna start, and then we see again transaction code is created. If we come over here, there should be a new instance that has been created. So we over here, and the new instance has been created. Currently over here, we're gonna again, so we're gonna let it go. So this continues, and come over here, and then so we see the transaction has failed from over here, but let's over here. So we see it took a different route this time and it failed. So it says that, okay, so the block funds failed because the user does not exist on the Finrac side. So just failed. And then we also see that the transfers have been started from the payer side. So let's say we have the channel request. In the channel request, we see the initiator is payer. So the payer is uh, uh, starting the transfer request, and we also see the error that is happening. So the error, it says that the request was invalid. Typically will happen. So you can get the error over here. Now let's try. Okay, so now we want to do a merchant payment. So this is a pay initiated transfer. So in this case also we will have the same. Okay, so let's try on a different amount. Let's let it be 654. Start. So we got our transaction, and then if we come back to our instances, so we got this started. Again, we are over here. We're gonna let it run. It's currently running. Should come over here. So it again stopped at the task. So our worker is over here, but let's update. So it's over here. We're gonna let it pass. So we see the transaction was successful. So this should have passed till now. Over here in the channel request, if we see the initiator as payee. Earlier it was the initiator was pay, but now the initiator has been payee. Right. And we also have another use case of merchant payment using authorization code. So if you check the authorization code once, so authorization code is provided by the GSMS. So the payer can request an authorization. Let's say he is requesting an authorization code, and no matching path forward. So let's turn it to local. So the payer requests a code, he gets the authorization code, and then he gives this authorization code to the merchant or the payee to transfer. So we have a use case for merchant pay with authorization code. We're gonna put the authorization code over here, and we're gonna send. So this starts a new transaction, and again, if we go over here at the running instances, we have a new instance created. Again, stops over here. We have the debugger on, and then we let it pass. So you see in the logs once, we see that. So we see that one-time code is the authorization that we are passing. So this one-time code acts as a verification that okay, so is allowed the transaction to pass. And then when you come again, we see that transaction. So ideally, so these PPMN flows are just so a user can have multiple PPMNs using the workers that are present. So currently we have these workers that have been implemented on the GSMA side. We have account status, name, balance, statement, transaction state, transaction response. Transaction response is basically the object that has been created. If a person wants to verify the transactions, then we have authorization code, and the transfer worker is a very generic worker. So it can consist of multiple transaction types. It can be a normal transfer, it can be a merchant, it can be a bill payment or reversal. So we have all the major workers in there, and then a user or let's say a developer can and then create his own PPMN flow using these box workers. Moving forward, I'll be working on the transaction reversal use case, also international remittance. So yeah, they're in the pipeline. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for demonstrating all that and being able to work through not having the UI ready to, available for the demo as well. So I'm so glad to see all that's been accomplished. And later on, it would be good to see for me to understand how, if we have enough of a test data set from the mobile money API to demonstrate transactions that are occurring and then get reflected in Fineract as well. So.
Oh yes, right. So I forgot to show that. I'll quickly just show it once.
Okay.
So this is the Leopard instance. Just let it load once. Right. So in the clients, if we go, so this GSM interrupt user one is the SDN that has been associated with it. If you open the savings account, we go through the transactions, we will be able to see the 345 which has been which is the amount that you wanted to debit. So this amount on hold. So it has been amount on hold, and then the release, and then the withdrawal again for the 654 regarding the merchant payment. So it gets debited, and then so account on hold, and it gets released, and then again withdrawal from the Finrac side.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for showing that. And then the question I was having was more so around if not for the transactions that we're initiating via Fineract through mobile money, but if a transaction's occurring on a mobile money account that is connected to the Fineract account, having those transactions reflected in Fineract. So.
Okay, right. So needs to be worked on in that case.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's discuss that later. So along with Avik. So, but really happy to see all of this and all the effort you had to put in and all the different ZB connectors, and it's great that we're finally getting this in place. So. Okay, thanks, Subham. And then next, Manish is going to quickly do his demonstration on his work thus far on the online banking app. And Manish, I think you can start sharing your screen. I'm sorry to keep you so long. I know you've got to
no worries, no worries.
Go get the essentials before the store closes.
Yeah, so are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Manish, and I have been working on the online banking app. It's basically a rewrite, we are rewriting the old web self-service app on Angular CLI 9 app. So my main, I started the project from scratch, and these were my deliverables. So my mentor suggested me to start from a fresh project and follow the project structure which is used in web app due to two reasons. First one was that web app has really a very good project structure, and second one is that it will be good to have all our community contributors. Like if the same structure is followed, then everybody will have ease in doing things. So and then after after setting up the project from scratch, I had to use I had to replace all the UI components with possible replacements of Angular material components, and I had to rewrite in the main deliverable. I had to rewrite the dashboard component, accounts component, beneficiaries, transfer, charges, and latent transaction component. So the thing is regarding my progress. So till this midterm, what I have achieved is like I set up the project with the same structure which was discussed with Ankit and Abhay. And then the project utilizes Angular Material 9, and I wrote these two components, dashboard and accounts component, and as well as I wrote the API calls. So let me show you what we have till now. I have some components we are in work in progress state, so I didn't deploy them. So yeah, so this is the main interface for the online banking app. So this is the dashboard component. It utilizes Angular material, so it's responsive as well. Like this is for like iPad screens and for iPhone screens and all. So, and then the second component which is ready is the accounts component. Yeah, so this is everything that I have ready to share with the community. And yeah, I am still working on some of the components, and that's my progress till now. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Manish. And then I think you've got the public. Is this the public demo server, or you still getting that set up? So.
No, actually, it's not on the Mifos repo. It's still a public URL, like, but it's currently served from my repository. So yeah, I don't know, like maybe I'm facing some trouble, so I will do that ASAP.
Yeah, and then you've got the proper repo on the Mifos GitHub that you can commit all the changes to. Okay.
Yeah, I have got the repo and the access as well. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Well, I'll let you get to your shopping before the stores close. But thank you for the showcase and efforts thus far.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and I think we've got one last showcase, and so I appreciate everybody staying on. I know we're almost twice the length of the meeting, but hopefully you've enjoyed seeing the progress thus far from our interns. But Abhijit, I think you wanted to walk through some of what you've been working on. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you, Ed.
Yeah.
So,
just before you go, I'll just give a little brief introduction to Abhijit. So we also, put in front of him a brand new project to build out a new reference UI on top of Fineract CN. And so he's been making really good progress thus far. But he too, like Ankur, had to wait a little bit to get some clarity on what direction to head since it was a brand new project. But he's working on a very important project to demonstrate and build out a reference UI for Challenger and digital neobanks on Fineract CN. So take it away, Abhijit, and thank you.
Sure, thank you, Ed, for the introduction. I'll just share my screen and we'll start. Okay, can you guys see?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so we started this project with the intention of that the current FIMS web app, which is here, it is not like it mostly is based on microfinance specific features, and it does not represent an individual focused app. So if like some customers come to see, they get turned away with all the microfinance specific features. So we wanted an app which can be more individual based and which can be more notification driven and action driven. So what we decided was we'll use a lot of functionalities with the FIMS web app, mostly the functionalities which are happening behind the screen, like authentication and authorizations, which were properly implemented in the FIMS web app. And then we'll go from there, and we had discussions over continued discussions over design and how we should implement it. So this is the current progress with this app. I have started from scratch, and so this we log in. So I have implemented the authentication flow, which mostly the behind the screens, which mostly uses the authentication flow of FIMS web app. It's waiting for, I think it's waiting for login. Okay. Like last few days, this Docker is experiencing a lot of trouble. Just 1 minute, guys.
Oh yeah, and while you're waiting for the login to go through, did you want to explain which sort of theme in our design thinking and choices there, Abhijit?
Can you repeat?
Oh, while you're waiting for the login to work, did you want to just talk about the decision we made around which theme we chose for the
Okay.
UI? Yeah.
Yep. So we are using a Bootstrap based theme. It also has Angular material and a lot of other features. It goes by the name NGX admin. So this code of Films web app was mostly done with the old versions of like everything with Angular to it is using a central store, which is NGRX store, which is used for state management, and the RxJS, which is like used for asynchronous programming, which is very important in the case of Finrac CN. So this theme uses all the uses the latest version of Angular, so we had to migrate the code accordingly, and there are a lot of breaking changes in this, but this is the theme which we are using, and I hope the login works now. I think I'll have to start the Docker again.
Okay, but yeah, Abhijit's working on that, to speak a little bit more to the impetus and, context for this project. So as he was stating, the current, FIMS web app is both, more centered towards these credit union or cooperative or microfinance centric operations. And then it's also, not fully like as, baked out, like as a polished UI that an end user would expect to use. And so given we have, a lot more prospective users that are, using Fineract or Finrac CN as the backend for digital or challenger banks, we wanted to be able to provide a reference UI to the community that out of the box, is more in line with the use cases they're looking to support. And that's why, we embarked on kicking off this project. And we also, wanted to choose a theme like the NGX admin theme that is a bit more, user friendly and a bit more powerful than just the default Angular material design theme.
So here you see that was the theme. I'll need to stop these services and start these again. It will take like 2-3 minutes at least.
Okay.
There's
Yeah,
some
so
error with Finrac CN, which like it is appearing these days a lot. And we were also facing this yesterday when I was talking to Giorgio when we were. So we decided to go with AWS, but it also didn't work.
Okay, no, well, it would be good to report those errors, Abhijit, and as you're troubleshooting that. So we welcome any feedback anybody has around use cases they'd like to support. We can share the link to some of the use cases we're looking to support, but basically a lot of the administrative features are going to be very similar to the administrative permissions that are supported in both Fineract and Finrac CN right now. But in terms of like the UI itself, we wanted to recognize that a lot of the products and services that are going to be managed are going to be for individual clients, and they're going to be driven by, self-service operations that the clients are doing online or via a mobile app. And then, the staff of the bank need to, be informed of like what actions have occurred on the client's accounts or what steps they need to take to help with, any ongoing support or maintenance, but really having that client-centric view of the individual and their various accounts, and then having more of that activity-based UI and notification-based UI for the staff to respond and make respective changes. So that's sort of like the design philosophy we're going forward with, and we welcome, any use cases people are looking to support. And likewise, this goes for all of the projects that have been showcased today. We welcome the input and feedback that folks in the community have, as we'd really like to drive as many of the ongoing enhancements based on the direct use cases and features that the community are looking to support and be able to test out. And yeah, one item that we haven't touched on and our students haven't been able to showcase yet, but we still are going to try to tackle during Summer of Code is continuing to, map the existing channel applications and first-party customer applications to the open banking APIs we're making available through an API gateway. And that's still, as part of the roadmap for what the students are working on this summer, but we're trying to, get the documentation in place and begin the process of mapping all of the APIs in the respective applications. And then the other students, who aren't showcasing either today or yesterday, they're still getting to important demoable milestones of their projects. And so that's why we didn't do a showcase midway through every project. But we're very happy with the progress that is being achieved to date on all the projects. And at the end of Summer of Code, we'll have multiple sessions to showcase the final efforts for the summer, and then, what the plans are for continuing these projects moving forward.
Okay, just one more minute and we'll have.
Sure.
I need to provision that identity.
Mm-hmm. If anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in the chat or come off mute. So.
All right, I'll start sharing. I hope it will start still
okay.
then.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. So.
Okay. I think it's still going on, but let's try. This is, I think, loading that request. It's still in the process of starting, I think. It doesn't usually happen. It takes this long. I don't know. Maybe because of screen sharing, it has become more slower. Yeah. It's not executing very close. Maybe we can I can record it and I can mail this mail the recording to for the midterm showcase.
Okay. Yeah, if you have to do that, that's fine. Abhijit, I'm sorry that like facing these issues, but try to document and report these, back as a ticket so we can help troubleshoot it within the community. Because you said you were facing this yesterday and trying to run via
Yep,
AWS
yeah.
as well.
It's like happening again. This error shows up again. They cannot connect to any host.
Okay.
I had a
Yeah.
discussion about with Giorgio yesterday, but yeah, we'll try to make
Okay. Maybe start a thread on the mailing list so others can contribute to that discussion as well.
Yeah, Giorgio actually he started the thread today, I think.
Okay. Oh, good. I'll try and escalate it to others to help respond.
Sure.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for staying on so long. I know we went an hour long, but I will send out the recording to this and, keep tracking. We do an online weekly check-in with each of the interns that others are welcome to listen in and join. And then, we always have the notes available on the wiki and then try to post the link to the recording on a weekly basis after we have that meeting. But we've got another month and a half or so of summer code to go through. So looking forward to the continued progress, and please, follow the issue trackers and ongoing work that's going on so we can incorporate your feedback, and we'll be sending the recording of these sessions. Thanks to all of our interns who showcased today and all of your work so far. And we're looking forward to the rest of the summer and many years into the future beyond as well. So thank you, everybody. Take care. Stay safe and well. Bye-bye.